So I'm going to just look at pools here and let's see. This one, danger, stay away from that. That one, 7 warnings, that's a honeypot. We don't want that one. I'm going to talk about how to choose the right pool for, say, a long-term token, how to do it. Let's look at Launchcoin. This is a well-established token. I've got a lot of choices for the pools here. I'm just going to look at the top 3 recommended. So I know this token. I've looked at it before. It's been around for a while. It's not got a whole lot of volatility to it. So what bin step, what fee do I want here? Let's put the 20 bin step in the 0.2% at the top. It's got the 101 at the bottom. And you'll notice here the 30-minute volume, there's a whole lot more of it in this one. You know, when I first started LPing, I'm thinking, man, I want the highest fee. That's going to get me the most. Well, if you were to go into this pool, you're not going to get very much out of it because it takes a whole 1% in change of that price for even to come routed through there. And it's not guaranteed that you will. You're going to get more volume, you're going to get more trades, and you will earn more off of this lower fee. But you don't always necessarily want to go for the lowest fee. So what you have to understand as an LPer is making the correct choice based off of the token itself. How old is it? How established is it? What's the volatility? What's the volume? If something is extremely low market cap and really volatile and new, I'm going to want a high fee because the risk of rug is much higher, or impact on price is much higher. I need to have a higher fee to select that. But anyway, let's go into the 22 on this particular token. Now, what I would do with this, I'm going to go ahead and look at the chart and see what it looks like. Okay. Doing good here. This one is a $68 million market cap. So this is a well-established long-term token. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to look at, however, the 4-hour chart and see what's going on over time here. Okay, I can see there's a pump way back then in May, and then over time it's kind of stayed in this area here. There's been some highs, there's been some lows. This is where most of the volume is. This one I would probably actually go two-sided with it. Select my range on the top. I think here is about where it's going to max out. That's at 92%. I may not want to go that wide. Let's look at, say, about 55, and then I want another, see how far down I want to go. It looks like this is the area where it would be, and about 45%. So I'm going to choose about 57 on the up and 45 on the down. So I'm going to buy just a little bit of this token for the demonstration. Okay, ready to add liquidity, and I'm just going to use autofill to give me a nice little balance of it. And I'll show you a stacking strategy on this. I'm going to do 50% of this in a spot, and I say give me a positive 57% and give me a negative 45%. Okay, so that needs 530 bins to cover all of that. I'm checking down here, making sure that all of the cost here is refundable. Now, because I'm using such a high number of bins on this, you'll see that the amount required is much higher than just 0.05. That's the size for a 69 bin position. It goes up the more bins that you use, but you get the money back after you withdraw those. And waiting on my wallet and just executing the transaction using Jito bundles. And there we are. We've got this thing started. Now I want to put in the rest, and let's just use the bid ask for this on both sides. And there we go. Waiting. And whenever you have a high bin number and it's using these Jito bundles, sometimes it'll end up making a funky shape on your liquidity. That's just kind of like how it is. We're still waiting for this to finish. I don't know if I talked about this yesterday, but in the pools here, you'll see the trading volume over the last week or 7 days, I think. You could just see how much volume has come through here in that amount of time with that. That's real handy. And we talked about here the community tools. You can see like this right here. Oh, that actually failed. This here, this is a link to Metlex. And then this here is a link to a profit analysis tool by GeekLad. We'll talk about that one a little later. So let's see what's happened. Not all of the liquidity went in. I'm going to refresh the page. I do have these set pretty low. So if I was using turbo or something, it may have landed a little better. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so it looks like only part of that went in. That's super cool. I'm going to uncheck that, put in the max amount of that into a bid ask. Don't add any more sol, and we're waiting. Sure, I'm going to increase this. Our PC is a little slow today, so that's what's going on. It can't be helped. I'm going to show you guys some other things you can do. Different types of tokens and the strategies that you may want to use on that. Here is a SOL and an LST token, Jito SOL. Let's take a look at that one. What's the choice here? Bin step and a 0.1. That's probably pretty good. We'll see the bin step 100. There's not enough price movement for this to choose that high of a bin step. Someone has put their money in here and made a poor decision. The bin step 8 is okay, but there's not very much TVL here, so it's really not a good choice. This is the one to go with, one bin step. And we can see the liquidity distribution. It's pretty tight. There's nothing out here really of significance. Most of the liquidity is within that range right there. I'm going to purchase just a small amount for the demo. Okay, so there's two ways to think about this particular token pair, because the price of Jito SOL is very dependent upon SOL itself. It's going, if SOL pumps, the price of Jito SOL is going to go with it, and same with the dump. So it's going to stay pretty close to each other. And you can look at the chart and see that. Okay, last 4 hours. Give it to me in SOL. Yeah, so they're kind of staying together. You have to keep in mind here, I'm looking at market cap. So what's the price of it here? 0.97 up to 1.3. Just give me all of it. Autofill. Let's go with the percentage actually. So let's figure out what that is. Okay, 15% and 6%. That's over the last 4 hours. Let me look at the last 1 hour. I'm gonna go down. 4% and up to 5%. So -4 and a +5. That's gonna create a lot of bins. But again, remember, this is a one bin step pool. The difference in price here is very small. So keep that in mind. This looks like we're super wide position, but it's really not. And it looks like it wants to create some bin arrays here. So I'm going to rethink this, maybe not go down so much, because I don't actually want to pay for bin arrays today. And we're still looking at paying bin arrays. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to take a risk here and do -1 and +1. 0.34 will add some liquidity. I'm going a little wider than what everybody else has, or what some whale has done. But you could, if you wanted to, in this, especially if you think it's going to stay right here. This is a great opportunity to actually use curve. If you think it's going to stay right here or really close within this area, go right ahead and use curve. You're not going to get rich off of a pair like this. It's going to be slow moving. There's a ton of TVL in this, $17 million. And the amount of volume that's coming through here, this is 1.5 million. So there's, at its peak, top is 7 million. So this is not a fast moving pair, but it's also a pretty safe pair to LP with. Okay, so I hope that kind of makes sense to you guys. But now let's pick something that maybe is a little bit more risky. So let's look at the DLMM top 100 here on Metlex. Just show me all the rugs. What's going on out here? I see a lot of multi-days, regret. Let's see if we can't regret something today. Let's check out this token. Okay, this token is 11 days old, so it's not that fresh. The market cap is only 392. So guys, remember with these lower market caps, it doesn't even have to be that big of a sell or a buy to have a big price impact on this token. And I'm not like this one here. This is a $1.4 thousand sell, and that was 9 days ago. It probably had a pretty big price impact on it, or right now we can see the trend. Some of these bigger sells caused this to start going down. And I don't actually like this token too much, the way it's acting, even on the 1 minute chart. It's not the worst, but it's not the one I want. Let's see what this is. 147 days. I'm looking for something a little bit newer. I know what I'll do. Let's use a super filter. And weekends are some of the worst times to pick anything because a lot of tokens are just not trading. You may not be having very much from this today. Let's see what this one's doing. 4 warnings on this one. Not sellable. That's a rug. So no thank you. We'll pass on that. Let's see what's happening in super. Now I'll tell you while I'm looking for a token, sometimes you don't need to force this. You should be looking for the right opportunities, and sometimes the best play is no play at all. If you can't find anything new, fresh, hot to do, then don't do anything, or move into a safer play, if you will. So let's see if we could find something that's kind of new. 4 months, 5 hours. Here's one called Hold. There's one pool. Let's go check that one out. It is a 100 bin step, 5 base fee pool. Now, if you remember what I was talking about earlier, selecting the right one. If it's a fresh token and it's really volatile and it's got a low market cap, you want a high base fee. And there is such a pools as 10% base fees. They do exist. They're only good for a very short period of time. If that token grows and gets a higher market cap, the price impacts are not quite there. Plus, as new pools open up with lower base fees, more competition, those pools working very well starts to die down, especially, also combined high bin step. Those are going to be pretty low. So that's something that we want to look at. It's not great because there is almost no liquidity here at all, but we do see some dynamic fee going on, 6% off of this. So what I would do on this one, we're going to look at the chart really quick. It's 4 hours old. I want the 30-second chart. We see that there is a pump going on. It's going to reverse here. The volume is not insane on it, but there's a little bit. Our market cap is 130. It's pretty low. So buys and sells are going to have a big price impact on this, which means that this may pay off. So I'm going to put in a very tiny bit. You guys do not need to copy me on this. I'm just going to put in a very tiny bit for the demo in a pure bid ask. And I am going to go down. I'm not even going to look and measure how much on that chart. I'm going to do negative 75% on this, just default. 144 bins, add liquidity, and that's it. Now, I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of trades because this pool does not have much liquidity in it, but that's the very basic of what I would do with a hot, fresh meme, high fee, and bin step. Usually, bin steps over 200 aren't going to perform very well. They exist, but you may struggle with that. A lot of degens don't like those. A lot of them prefer 125 bin step or 100 bin step. They may like to go down to the 80. And if you get really degen, you can go down into the 20 bin step. And the 20 bin step, you can even have, a 2%, 5% base fee. Those can be a little bit trickier to get the liquidity to deposit because it's swinging. You're having a lot of slippage. You just change your setting right here for that liquidity slippage if you're having trouble depositing. But this one, very simple, and we can see it's already pumped up out of range. I earned a tiny bit in Sol, but that one is actually a winner. Not really much of one, but I didn't lose anything. I'm going to draw and close. And I'm going to copy the CA that Photon has given me, see what's going on. We'll try a different token out here. Drop my contract address in, and there's no pool. Well, that's too bad. Let's see, is there anything else hot going on? So XBT sold, there's 14 pools. We'll see this. The 100 bin step 2% is very popular, especially over time, you know, as the 10% and 5% pools stop being quite so effective. People will move to the 102s and sometimes even go lower, but don't get in a hurry to get to these. You kind of follow the TVL. That's my advice for you, is follow the TVL. Here, $238,000. That one's not bad. Let's look at the chart. Okay, here I can see that someone just added liquidity. There's some buys and sells going on. 5-minute volume is $11,000. This is a $6.8 million market cap. So this is not, it's 128 days old. So this is not exactly like a fresh rug or anything. So this is maybe not the one that I want. Let me try this other one that Photon just gave me. Okay, Cancer. I did see this one earlier. What are the warnings here? Suspicious dev activity. Suspicious activity detected in this token's dev wallet. Well, Photon said this was risky, and it probably is. I'm probably not going to do this one, but what is the suspicious activity? You know, I don't know. I'm actually going to pass on that one. Okay, Moin Soul. All right. This is the 200 bin step. The base fee is 10%. Okay, let's look at the chart. Okay, it's 15 hours old, and we'll see the price change here. So 10% pool, the last 5 minutes, there's only been a 6 to 7, 9% change in the price. So if I was in that pool, I'm not getting very many trades right now because it's not happening. I might get one as soon as it peaks above 10% or below 10%, but it is not quite as volatile, and that's partly because of the volume right now. It's a really low market cap at 131,000. We could try it, but the chart does look like crap. It's on a downtrend here. I can just see that right there. This is not a good one, really. But if I was to play this one, I would be using the bid ask only. I would not be buying this token at all. It would be pure bid ask, and I would go really down far on this. I would probably do a 90% on this one. Now, this is 200 bin step, so it's only going to require 120 bins to cover that much range, but there has to be a lot of price impact for it to move to the next one on this one. Knowing the age of this one, it may be time to move to a smaller one, but this is really just not that good of a token overall. Well, like I said, there's not much to LP right now, nothing really hot, no quick runners, so I'm just going to not do it. We have some positions open on other longer term plays right now. I think that's the way to go. So we're going to actually move on to the next portion of the boot camp.